Thank you. Yeah, I'm actually one of the dandelion fluffs on his poster there. Anyway, today's contemplative I took from the what month is this? October 2018 Science of Mind magazine. 2018 is when I came to the center. And it's titled As the First Star Shines. A basic harmony must exist at the center of everything, or the universe itself would be chaos. You already know this and believe it. Now you are going to act upon it. You are not only going to believe in it, you are going to act as though it were true, because it is true. There is peace in the center of your being, a peace that can be felt through the day and in the cool of evening, when you have turned from your labor and the first star shines in the soft light of the sky. It broods over earth quietly, tenderly, as a mother watches over her child. Say, in this peace that holds me so gently, I find strength and protection from all fear or anxiety. It is the peace of God in which I feel the love of a holy presence.
I'm here to remind you of your magnificence, to help you awake to all the wonder that you are. I long to show you all the joy you're worthy of. I'm here to remind you how much you're truly loved.
Thank you, Jackson. I love you guys. And I think that kind of feeling that we all have for each other, that is contagious. That is more contagious than any pandemic ever thought of being. Let's breathe out our love everywhere as we go out into our day. Let's breathe in the love that permeates this building and know that that is peace.
to show me all the joy you're worthy of. You're here to remind me how much I'm truly
And now, with one last big hug to all of you, I thankfully welcome Reverend Angelica.
Thank you, Les and Jackson. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ukiah and Eureka and anyone else that's on the Zoom from wherever. I can't see, so just know that you're embraced as well as all of us. What's wrong here?
I wonder if the battery's getting low on the remote.
Maybe.
There's a
Except
setting on in there with a mouse or,
But it's not working with the... There. Wait just a minute. Hold on just a minute. I gotta move this down. We take this pause for commercial interruption. Here we are, everybody. Again, I'm going to say thank goodness we're not an organized experience here on Sunday mornings. So this month is going to be about emotions. And it's really interesting to me that our book group decided to read a book called Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown. And it's all about emotions. And I had no idea that this month was going to be about emotions, nor did the Global Vision people who created the yearly themes a year ago know that this book was going to be on the bestseller list. And she's been on talk shows and has an HBO special, and it's all about emotions. And emotions are kind of like spices in a way. They either make our life better or they might make it worse. You know, it might not taste quite as good as we would like it to. So in this, I had to, of course, go to the dictionary and look up the word spice. The dictionary says that a spice is a seed, fruit, root, bark, or other plant substance primarily used for flavoring or coloring food. Now, this is a little aside, but this morning I was breezing through Facebook, and there's this guy on there talking about conscious keto, and he said that if we really knew the flavorings that were put into the various food that we consider to be healthy, we would probably be really upset. And one of those was crushed bugs. I went, what? Crushed bugs? That's not on this list. But I guess they're a particular red color or something like that. So that's just an aside. The flavoring, the things we use for flavoring, you know, and I'm wondering how many of us are bugged by stuff daily, if not 2 or 3 times a day, that colors our life. So similarly, that word, the spices of our feelings and emotions, such as fear, happiness, anger, sadness, these flavor our lives. And I know most of us in the Science of Mind would like to be living in that love and happiness and joy and all of those feelings that we really want to attract, those good feelings. So I this is a spice rack that I happened to buy at Costco a while ago just because I liked what it looked like. And I thought about the fact that we have all these emotions that serve to add spice to our lives, and that, you can pick what you want. And sometimes you don't feel like you can pick. You don't feel like you had a choice. You just feel like you reacted. But even reacting is a choice. And so that idea for me of spinning those two different levels of the spice rack tend to spin. So just spinning those to pick something else would be a really good thing to do, especially as we learn how to, we lean into learning about our emotions and creating balance in our lives. As we do this, our recipe has just the right blend to create a mixture of harmony, well-being, and growth. So, that red spice, that chili powder right there, that I'm not really into chili powder. I'm not really into really spicy foods. A little spice is good, but a lot of spice doesn't work for me. But if I was to spin that around and find the curry, I love curry. There's something in me that just, I put curry in soup, I put it in vegetables, I put it in just about everything because I love it. So it's my choice to do that, just like it's our choice to have the emotions that we have. So here's 3 things about emotions. One is we run from them a lot, don't we? We find something else to do. And I believe that this comes from when we were children. Because as a child, how many of you heard, don't cry? Big girls don't cry, big boys don't cry, etc. You're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to be sad. You're not supposed to be angry, especially at your parents when you're a child. And so we develop things to run from our emotions. Now, as a child, I developed a love of reading. I could read when I was in kindergarten. And I read books that were above my age level all of my life in school. And I remember at the Catholic school, we had the children's library, and then we had the adult or the high school library. And I was so good at reading that I got to enjoy going to the high school library to get my books. Sort of a little ego thing for me, I get to take books out from the high school library. But I used reading to avoid feeling. And I think sometimes I do that now as well. Only now I listen to books more than read them. So running from our emotions. So what we want to learn this month as we go through 4 different emotions that we'll be going through, it's a 5 Sunday month, is to welcome our emotions. I know right now that if you've looked at the news and you've seen something about what's happening in other countries, that there's something, it hurts. I was thinking about this morning that, I was against the Vietnam War. I'm one of those, but I didn't know what was happening. It wasn't fed to you 24 hours a day on the media, and especially all the painful things, and to think that, somebody would intentionally bomb a maternity home. That hurts. To think that one picture that I saw where the bomb had come into a town and across it was written, "For the children," in Russian, that hurts. And yet, if I try to back away from those emotions, if I try to run from them, what I'm really doing is not running from them. You can't get away from them. They follow you everywhere you go because you've stuffed them. And so if I allow myself just to sit there and cry or sit there and feel sad about what's going on, then my feeling of them will then prevent them from being stuffed. They'll move through me instead of my grabbing onto them and not wanting to grab onto them and stuffing them inside of me. So welcoming your emotions is really, really important right now in particular, but all your life. And then creating balance and harmony with our emotions. You know, I can feel the pain and sadness of war, and then I can turn around and look at my cat sleeping next to me on the couch and feel love. I can feel the anger of the political crap that's going on in the United States, and I can then go and outside, and I started counting the buds on just one bush. There's 60 buds. I have 17 bushes. I quit counting. And then I'm pleased, you know, I got excited about the fact that in maybe a week, my roses, those buds are just going to burst open. I'm going to have all these colors and flowers, and it's going to be beautiful. So we don't have to stick in any one emotion. I think that's one of the reasons why we tried to run from it as children, was because we thought it didn't feel good. We didn't want to be there. We thought it was going to be a forever type thing. It's not. Again, if you remember that spice rack, we get to choose what we want to feel. But we also do not want to run from those emotions. We want to welcome them, experience them, and let them go, and create a sense of balance and harmony. Maya Angelou says, can't read the top of it. I've learned that people will forget what you said, will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So as we're moving through this month of emotions, we also want to pay attention not only to our own emotions, but how our words and our actions make other people feel. I am not really responsible for how you react to what I say, but I am responsible for recognizing if I might have triggered something. So many times you talk to somebody and you hear them say, well, they made me feel this way. They did not make you feel that way. They said something that triggered something that was already within you. So I want to pay attention to my words as I'm speaking with other people, especially if I already know that they're sensitive in certain areas of their life, so that I don't trigger people. I'd rather not be a trigger or have my words be triggering. Sometimes you can't help it. But it also is not our job. It's not my responsibility to make you feel better. And that sounds kind of harsh, because that's the first thing we want to do. We want to help the other person run away from their feelings. And that doesn't work either. So people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And how do we want people to feel? Don't we want people to feel appreciated, seen, loved? So Dr. Holmes says somewhere, I wrote this down in a little piece of paper, but then I forgot where it came from. Like anything in life, practice makes perfect in maintaining emotional health and balance in our lives. Staying aware of our thoughts, moods, and disposition is a healthy practice. Staying aware. of our emotional health. Maintaining balance is really important, a very healthy practice in our life. And I love this one. Let me move this so you can see it better. This one was by David Hawkins. He wrote a book called Power versus Force that has a whole, he calibrated the energy levels of various different emotions in our lives. And he says love is misinterpreted as an emotion. In reality, it's a state of consciousness, a way of being in the world, a way of seeing oneself and others. The reason why I like this so much is because we do think of love as being an emotion, one we can turn off and on. But the truth is, love is who we are. You know, if it's absolutely true that there's only one life, that life is God's life, and that life is the life that we're living, then, and we remember that in scripture and many other places it says God is love, then this being that is running this body, these bodies, it's love. But we've covered it up with a lot of different things. So love is not an emotion. It's a state of consciousness. It's who we really are. And the more we get that, the more we get to spread love out in the world. I love this, that it's a way of being in the world, a way of seeing oneself and others. You know, when I think about a person that I've met over the years who is one of those who absolutely exhibits that loving state of consciousness, I would have to say it's the Dalai Lama. You know, he makes jokes and does everything like everybody does, but he walks in peace and love. It like radiates off of him. It's an amazing way to be. And when I was with him for those, when I had my short little time with him personally, I thought, I want to be this. I want to be one where I can walk through a group of people and all they feel is love. They feel better about themselves. They feel better about being in the world. And how do you do that? How do you do that? How do I do that? I try to remind myself over and over again that the truth of me is divine. The truth of me is the one powerful presence of the divine. God individualizing itself as each one of us. So I'm going to stay with that idea and keep my emotions and feelings balanced in that idea that all there is the divine, this wonderful energy. And then you know what happens? You never run into people that are weird. I mean, weird like me. Yes. But, you know, I don't run into angry people. I very rarely have have that sort of experience with others, unless I judge that the experience is going to be that way beforehand. I see, when I'm walking through my life, I see all the beautiful expressions of the divine everywhere. In people, in pets, in plants, in cars, in everything, in this building. This building, just think about this. If you're thinking about the fact that everything is God, or, you know, your homes, wherever you're sitting when you're on Zoom, you know, that's something, this building that's around us is divine energy individualized as a building. This too is God. So this week, in preparation for the rest of the month, I want you to pay attention to your emotions, to your feelings. Notice when you're angry. Notice when you feel betrayed. Notice when you feel joyful. Notice when you feel loving. Sort of keep a little mental diary about how you're feeling, because we're going to be looking at these emotions closer for the month. Dr. Holmes says in something called Observations, this is from the notes from the Global Vision people. I am speaking of the power that sustains life, of the intelligence that directs it, and the wisdom that governs it. We are speaking of love, the warmth and color which awakes to consciousness in our own being. That's who you are, love. So let's enjoy ourselves and go out and be it. Even if you find when you're doing your observations this week, if you find yourself mad at something, just love it. You know, my teacher, Reverend Helen Street, you all have heard me mention her many times, says that if you're feeling a feeling, wallow in it. Wallow in it for 15 minutes. So if you're feeling mad, be really mad for 15 minutes. If you're feeling sad, be really sad for 15 minutes. And then allow yourself to move out of it. I thought that was a really good idea, just to wallow in it, not to try to escape it, but just wallow in it for a certain period of time. And you could set your own time limit. But in truth, who we are is love. So let's say this affirmation together. I allow divine love, wisdom, truth, health, happiness, harmony, joy, compassion, delight, etc., all the spices of spirit that are ever available to me, flow through me now. And let's treat. Let's go into prayer. How grateful I am to acknowledge the divine, to acknowledge this energy that is infinite, that is all powerful, that is unconditionally loving. And as I acknowledge it in my mind, in my heart, I begin to see it absolutely everywhere. I know that the next time I look in the mirror, I'll see this divine energy expressing itself as me. The next time I look into the eyes of friends or family, I remember I'm looking at the divine. And so speaking in the first person, I choose for each one of us to know this. And I declare, for us, I remember who I am, an individualization of this one powerful presence. And I know that everything about my life is good. Everything about me is good. And so I let go of the ideas that emotions are bad or emotions are good. I recognize them too as divine energy moving through me. And I celebrate being able to feel. I celebrate being able to let go of the idea of stuffing my feelings or running away from them. I celebrate this being a human being because I get to have all these emotions and feelings. And I celebrate allowing myself to balance them, to know that they are always in harmony. And I celebrate knowing that who I am underneath all of that is love, divine energy of love. And so I declare that this week as I go out about my life, I see signs of this love reflected back to me from everywhere, even some unusual places. so that I really know this is the universe saying, yes, you are love. And how grateful I am to be able to do this. How grateful I am to know that the I am that I am is more powerful than I could ever imagine. That I am the beloved and I am the lover. And with a grateful heart, I release these words into divine law, knowing that they are already so for each one of us. Something about today has made a difference in our lives. And I'm grateful. And so it is. We have a gift this morning. Les Craig gets to play music for us.
Les, is that one of the ones you've written?
Yes, that's one of mine.
Yeah, I love that one.
That's okay. I'm just unplugging it. Thank you very much, everybody, but especially Les. That was very good. And I'm sorry for the Zoomers. I hope I didn't give you not morning sickness. Motion sickness. That's funny.
Is it conceivable or not conceivable?
Not conceivable, yeah. We're going to get this all figured out, though, so it works smoothly. I mean, that's one of our plans. So right now, I have to say I'm so grateful for the quality of music that we have, even though I haven't been able to have you guys pictured that well. But let's give them a hand again. And now let's think about the offering we'll be giving today, or this month, or whenever it is that you do your offering. And perhaps you might imagine holding it in your hands or to your heart. And let's say this affirmation together. I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses the center, all in it and beyond, and so it is. And here is where you can, well, what happened? I think I'm getting rid of that. Yeah, there we go. All I was trying to do is move this over, but so you can go to our website or the Ukiah website. There's donate buttons on both sites. Those of you who are not in either place, you can go to one of those websites and make your donation, or you can mail it, or you can use your own PayPal if you have, etc. Or those of us that are here in the room this morning could put it in the little basket back there, one of the metal baskets. And let's just be grateful. Be grateful for the abundance that is in this world, that is in this center, that is in our hands, in our hearts. And how grateful we are to be part of that great green river of circulation. We celebrate this. We thank God for this, and so it is. So, who among us would like to come and read our community statement of inclusion? Okay, Catherine. Wakana.
Yeah, we got to do this in a while. I think everybody has done this. Okay. Do I have to stand up here?
Oh, we got to be on the microphone.
Okay. Hey, it's even short. We, the Eureka Centers for Spiritual Living, are communities that celebrate diversity, foster inclusion, champion inner work, and create space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are communities that honor the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocate with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are communities that bless each other, see sacredness in all life, remain learners and listeners so that we may grow together and understand that oneness is not sameness. We know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
And so it is. Thank you. I do want to thank both the Ukiah and the Eureka Centers for Spiritual Living for being here this morning, and for everyone else that might be on Zoom. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to our musicians. Thank you, everybody.